Hey guys, what's up? Scotch Duck here once again. Alright, we're back with the wobbly table and the dirty towel. Time for another collection update. Right, so we are definitely at that time of year where new releases are just like, there's like one every week, pretty much, you know? There's a bunch coming out in the next couple of months that I'm like really excited to grab. We've got a few things here though that I want to show off, and yeah, you know how this works. Okay, anyway, first of all, we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I already own this. I bought it again by accident. That's how responsible I am with me purchases. But anyway, first proper game. Now, okay, so this is a Asterix for the Sega Master System. Asterix, yes, Asterix. Now, if you guys come to my stream, I do this thing sometimes where I get a little bit, like, I don't know, excited or whatever, and whenever somebody says their birthday's coming up, I say, oh, tell me what day your birthday is, I'll stream and you pick the game. I've done that a few times, and one of my regulars, Marshall, he was like, my birthday's here, can you play this? And I was like, yes, of course I will, I was just like, fuck. But I did it anyway. And so we played through this game as a game from his childhood, played it on an emulator, played through the whole thing. It's a pretty good 2D platformer. I know that like Asterix, it's like what, a French comic series. I've seen some of the cartoons when I was younger and that, but when it comes to being like a video game franchise, this is like been around for decades. Like they still make Asterix games and they're kind of like, they come out really frequently. Like it's a franchise with video games, it really is. It's kind of crazy. But, yeah, it is just like a sort of 2D platformer. I think it was actually developed in-house at Sega, and it does feel that way. It's just a broad game, quite frankly. I would recommend it, yeah, so there you go. Asterix, cool. Next, okay, so I've got 3 Switch games here, and all of them are visual novels, amazingly enough, so here we go. I picked up this, the Another Code Recollection. So when this got like revealed, I was honestly quite surprised because I've played both of these games, you know, like Trace Memory for the DS and Another Code R for the Wii, and it was just such a cool like, oh, they're remaking that. Oh, all right, cool. But yeah, when it came to the games, weren't like amazing or anything, you know, especially like that Wii game. You know, the Wii game was always like, it was one of those like games that was just like on the Wii that was so, how do I put this? Okay, the Wii was just filled with all these like really weird hidden gems, right? And that was just so perfectly in that niche. So it had this like air of like, I guess, you know, intrigue about it. Also the fact that it wasn't even released in America, that game, it was Europe and Japan only. So this was kind of like the way for Americans to finally play it. So yeah, it's always sort of like had a place in the back of my mind, that series, so when I saw this, I was quite surprised. It took me a while to get around to it. I just saw it one day on Amazon. I was just like, oh yeah, I haven't bought that yet. I haven't played it, still in its cellophane, but aye, very, very interesting, to say the least, that this got made. But cool, nonetheless, now, another thing that's quite interesting, I picked this up, Emio the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, I guess that's like what it is. So, the thing about this game is I'm sure most people heard about it because Nintendo, they were quite good when they came to the marketing for this because they released like a GIF of like some guy with a paper bag over his head. They put it on Twitter and information came out that it was like an M-rated game or, you know, 18 plus, and it just, everybody was talking about it. You know what I mean? Everybody was like, what the fuck is this, you know? And then we found out a little bit later that it was going to be the next game in the Famicom Detective Club series. There was only 2 games in that series, released all the way back in the 80s on the Famicom. I think it was the 80s anyway, only in Japan. And a couple of years ago there, they remade those games for the Switch, and you could buy them digital only for 50 quid. Okay, and they've never put the price down, because I've got those games wishlisted. I'm waiting for them to go on sale, but even when this was revealed to be a Famicom Detective Club game, they never put the price down. It was so weird of them. It was so weird. Why not, Nintendo? Fuck's sake. But I was told that I can jump right into this without playing those 2 games originally. I would like to, but I guess Nintendo's playing my hand here. I mean, the fact that this came out physically as well was really, like, interesting to me. It was, like, kind of made me want to be like, I should really grab that. But, it's, I do want to give this a go, because I just think it's so funny that Nintendo's made this. Well, kind of. It was... I think it was like mainly made by like another developer, but it is largely like Nintendo's thing. It was co-developed by them, it was published by them, it's their IP. You get what I'm saying, but Emil the Smiling Man. I will be sure to give this a go. And lastly, I have quite a bit to say about this actually. Miles Edgeworth Collection. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. When this got revealed, that was like a really, like, good moment, alright? Because now I've got them right here. Like, you guys know, well, maybe not all of you know, but, like, 10, like, maybe closer to 15 years ago at this point, you know, when I first discovered Ace Attorney, and it just became one of my favourite fucking things, I would go on and on about the fact that the games weren't releasing outside of Japan, the fact that a lot of them were, like, digital only on the 3DS. I would go on about this constantly. Okay, I'm thinking back, I was just, like... I was insufferable with it. I wouldn't stop moaning. But now, here we got here, you know, we got the great Ace Attorney collection, we got the Apollo Justice collection with those digital-only 3DS games on here, and I'm holding them all in my hand now. It's just such a validating moment. Sounds so weird to say, but I've got all these now in my hand. It feels great. I don't have the original Phoenix Wright trilogy. Physically, because that never came out physically outside of Japan, even though the Japanese version has the English text on it, so maybe I'll get that at some point. But I don't mind not owning that, because I've got them on the fucking DS, okay? I do own them physically, so I'm quite happy with that. But, and Ghost Trick as well, I always forget that Ghost Trick exists, like, in this day and age. You could buy it. I've not actually played that remaster yet, I need to get around to it. So, Ace Attorney fans, rejoice. However, I'm not too happy with this remake, I must say. The fact that it's here is cool, and I've only played... I'm on the 4th case of the first game, you know. I still need... That's the other thing as well, for those of you who don't know. The second game in this collection was never released outside of Japan. I played the fan translation. I know, like, all those characters' names that the fans gave them, but now I need to... It's going to feel like a new game, I think, and I'm excited to get to it. But this Switch version feels rough. Okay, like, I don't know what it is, if they rushed it or something. It just feels like not very slick. Things like opening the menu takes like a full second to pop up. Things like pressing the button to view like the chat log, you know, the past text or whatever. It just doesn't feel responsive. And I just came off of this. I got this a while back, and I decided when this got announced, I actually decided to go back and like replay these games. And it feels very responsive, and these were 3D games, you know, these were like presumably harder to port than this one, but it must have been like a different team or whatever, because yeah, this just feels not as like I said, just not as slick to play, and like the frame rate drops a lot, which is again bizarre. It's a visual novel game. Yeah, it's just I'm wondering if they're gonna release a patch for this, and I don't know if the other versions are like that as well, like if you play it on like PlayStation or Xbox or PC, but this Switch version for sure. You also notice that this is the American version. They're all American versions, actually, these collections that I have here, because Capcom wouldn't release them physically in Europe, which obviously, you know, of course there had to be some catch, didn't they? But this one they did release physically in Europe on the PlayStation 4 only. Okay, and I have all these other games for the Switch, so I wanted to get the Switch version. So I had to import it, and yeah, it's a little bit iffy, sadly. So overall, I am glad that it's here. Again, it's not like bad performance and all that is going to affect your experience with a visual novel in a big way. It is just a little disappointing though, but whatever. God damn it, I went on about that a lot. But speaking of a game that I'm going to go on about a lot, here's Astrobot. Now, before we get to that, playing this game did that thing to me where it makes like a bunch of references to another game, and me being the amazing consumer that I am, it made me go out and buy other games that were represented here. Namely, Ape Escape 2 and Ape Escape 3. Yeah. I played Ape Escape 1 like years ago on the PlayStation, and I thought it was a delightful platformer, you know? The way that it would like utilize the DualShock was like really creative, especially for something like on the PlayStation. The voice acting was amazing, you know? It was just a fun little game. And I actually want to replay it after this, because apparently a lot of like the Ape Escape team is now what makes up Team Asobi, the developers of Astrobot. So yeah, it just got me thinking, like, damn, I need to get back to Ape Escape. I need to, like, finish those games, you know what I mean? But I want to go back and eventually replay the first game, just to remind myself. I don't even know if these are, like, as good, because not a lot of people talk about Ape Escape 2 or 3, but you hear a lot of love for Ape Escape 1, for sure. So maybe these are shite. Who knows? Who knows? But, aye. But, yeah. Guys. Astrobot. You know how my favorite game is Shenmue? It's still my favorite game, right? But when I was playing this game, guys, genuinely, I hit a point. I think I was up to like the third like captain's level. You know, like I'll not say what it was because it would be a spoiler in that. But I got like basically halfway through the game, and I was genuinely thinking to myself, "This is my new favorite game. This game is amazing. This is my favorite game." I was having those thoughts, and it was just like, "Fuck! I'm gonna have to tell people this." Right? But then I got to the end, and it really is just like a wonderful game, guys. Okay, it really does live up to all these like perfect scores that he's getting. I hate to sound like a big fucking fanboy here, but I genuinely had the best time playing this. Okay, like I loved Astro's Playroom on the PS5. It was like my favorite PS5 game, quite frankly. And this is just like a bigger version of that in every way, and it's delightful. Okay, it really is. Well, I don't think it's gonna quite top. I don't think it's quite my favorite game, but at the very least, I think I have to say that this is my favorite 3D platformer ever. For pretty much 20 years, almost to like the month, it was Ratchet & Clank 3. That came out in like 2004. I think it was like November or October that came out. So we're coming up to the 20th anniversary of Ratchet & Clank 3. Holy shit. But yeah, for years, that was my favorite 3D platformer. Rather, like, Ratchet & Clank is my favorite platforming series, and 3 is just my favorite game in that series, you know? But it's this now, okay? Like, one of my oldest videos on my channel is top 10, like, 3D platformers that I made, like, ages ago. Okay, don't watch that video, it's shit. But like, if you go back to it, the list probably has changed quite a bit, to be fair, but there's definitely a bigger number one now, 100%. So, yeah, that's Astrobot. Cool. Alright, guys, that's that anyway. Like I said, definitely probably going to be another couple of collection updates throughout the year. Zelda's out this next week. Can't wait for that. And, but yeah, I'm going to go back and play some more Ace Attorney. That's what I'm doing in it, but yeah. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.